Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so did everything I had to do. Did a little climbing of the hill with the heavy backpack stuff going on today. Body reacted pretty well to it. Can't complain. Got a little bit of a strain in my right glute, but it ain't keeping me from doing anything. It just hurts a little bit when I stretch. So I think that's what it is. Other than that, I'm able to do everything. And so that hasn't been a problem, climbing steps and stuff like that, squats, and it hasn't really stopped nothing. It's just when I do that one stretch action, it hurts a little bit more than it should. So yeah, man, I've been incorporating new stretching exercises into my life, and I think I probably strained it doing those. So it is what it is, man. I'm just getting old, but trying to take care of the body just the same. So yeah, man, this situation with Iran is, I'm listening to independent media, and I can say that right now it's understood that Netanyahu, who is in fact not dead, because it's a situation where Netanyahu's plane went off to Berlin, and it was allegedly a decoy. Meanwhile, his offices was getting blown to hell. So, yeah. It was a wonder if he actually made it out of there. But I just saw a photo that was alleged to have been a good non-AI photo of him outside of his office, stepping out of the rubble. I'd imagine that equates to him still being around. But yeah, it got a little shaky there for Benjamin. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to be very happy when he's out of here. But I understand that he's not anything but a puppet, just like a lot of these figureheads are just puppets, man. Western figureheads are puppets. The real powers that be are the 1%ers that eat babies. Those are the guys who are really in charge. Guys like Ben and Donald just do their bidding. That's really what it is. And because it's understood that that is the case, I think it can start getting a little strange for some of them. Because their names are in the Epstein files, their names are in other stuff too. People kind of know who's keeping this Israel thing going. And I just wonder how long it's going to be before we start seeing some Luigi-like activity going on with some of these 1%ers who don't really hide, to be honest with you. They don't do a whole lot of hiding. Be it your local basketball game, you know what I mean? Be it various different things. And it's just like, if they're putting two and two together, they should expect that it's time to up security to a different level right now. So people aren't very happy with them, and we do believe that they control a lot of what goes on, and people want a lot of the suffering to stop. So how do you make the suffering stop? By doing to the people that create the suffering what comes naturally to you, and that's what I think could be on the horizon for some of y'all. Epstein class 1%ers. People know where you like to play. People know that you are behind a lot of the suffering. And we know that the government is just pawns in your chess game. So, that's just a little prediction here. I think we're going to start seeing people start trying to get at some of these people. Man. Some of them big wig 1%ers. Yeah, I don't know what's left for the people to do, really. So that's just what I'm saying to you. I don't wish death on any of these people. I'm not using my platform to tell people to go after anyone. And I'm personally of the mindset that killing more people does not really solve the problem. And making attempts on people's lives puts children at risk in a lot of cases. And the whole point of what it is we're talking about on this channel is try to protect kids. Kids are the innocent, kids are the guilty. I don't really care. I want to protect Israeli children too, ironically enough, even though a lot of them are growing up the wrong way. I don't believe in killing children, and I don't believe children are without the ability to grow to be great. And so I have no interest in killing anybody's kids or seeing anybody's kids dead, and that means nukes are not the solution. Running people off the road who could potentially have kids in their cars, not the solution. Shooting in the direction of human beings while they're with their families is not the solution. You get the point. You get the point. So that's what I'm saying to y'all. I was very upset that, and y'all heard me talk about it in the previous video, the Ayatollah's grandchild was killed in the strike that took him out. That bothered me a lot, a whole lot. And I want people to understand it. I don't really care, and this is just me recapping what I've already said. I really don't care whose kid it is. Children need to be protected. It's innocent and the guilty alike. And they need to be given direction, and they need to be given proper ways of handling their anger, etc. I firmly believe that the solution to all of our problems is teaching the next generation the right way to go, how to fear God and how to control their own desires. Fearing God and controlling desires is helpful for all of us. And there are a lot of people who don't believe in God, and that's very unfortunate. But it is not a sign that God does not exist. Not by a long shot. So, with that being said, now I'm thinking about what I've been learning about how Iran is looking to retaliate against the Americas and Israel and their allies. Essentially, they're not looking to target people like myself in my little town. I think they're a lot smarter than that. I think they know who their true enemies are. Their true enemies are, like I said, the 1%ers who got my country by the balls, and those manipulating interests who are well trained and highly funded. And what they're trying to do, from what I'm understanding, is they are attacking U.S. bases in the foreign nations surrounding their country. That's what they're doing. They're popping our bases. So if we have some of our loved ones in them bases, they're in real grave danger right now. Some of our nieces, nephews, cousins, if they're Marines or Air Forcemen or what have you on bases in the Middle East, they're in trouble right now. It just is what it is. I saw photos of the individuals who were lost in the latest strike against the U.S. All black people. 3 black soldiers is what's being shown. I don't know if that holds a lot of truth. I don't really know. You know what I mean? It's a lot of misdirection that could be possible in these times. So unless something is supremely confirmed by multiple sources, I can only say that it's being floated around rather than to confirm. But from what I understand, 3 soldiers have been sent back so far. All of them basically look like me. And I just say there's nothing more disgraceful than dying for Israel. Nothing more disgraceful in the world right now. If you understand what Israel's been up to for the last 3 years, dying for them is a disgrace. It's a shame. You know, it really is. Dying for this Epstein class, as they're calling them, of American government and American people, unfortunately, it's a disgrace. You'd like not to die for them, I'll tell you that much. So, that's what I will say. It's a damn shame. I hate to see anybody lose their life in support of Israel. But definitely people that share my my heritage, my complexion. I don't know, man. Not all skin folk is kinfolk. I get that. I believe that. I've seen that a million times over. And if you sign up knowing what these people are up to and you happen to lose your life, I happen to not necessarily have a tear for you. Black, white, whatever color you are. But I don't think a lot of the people who are doing the bidding right now either fully know what's going on or they're not supporting of it. You know, I understand that there is footage floating around of one of our ships out in the ocean somewhere in the Middle East. Essentially, from what I understand, some of the soldiers on board have been clogging the toilets to flood the bathrooms to slow down the process of whatever the mission is, because they don't believe in the mission and they don't want to carry it out. That holds harsh consequences for service people. I have no doubt. Anything you do in that regard, who knows? You know what I mean? I'm sure they got places they send people for that type of stuff. So far be it from me to use my voice to tell people to do more of that. What I will say, though, is it's very honorable to reject what is otherwise in place to support the people who are doing the things that we're seeing right now. If you reject what they're doing, I think history will be kind to you. In the short term, you may suffer a lot. They may disgrace you, ruin your career, may even send you to Guantanamo Bay, honestly, and torture you for the rest of your damn life. I'm not sure what they'll treat you like, given who it is that's in charge and how important their mission to do all this stuff is. People who refuse that mission, I'd imagine they have horrible things in line for you. I'm just being real. It's very unfortunate that you find yourself in a position to be a soldier for these people, I'll tell you that. So, I just think at this point, that's kind of where we're at. And prayers out to those service members who are in the dark about why they're doing what they're doing and just following orders because that's what the training tells them. Prayers out to you. And prayers out also to those who are woke, so to speak, in the service, who desperately want a way out of it. That is definitely a prayer needed for all of us citizens out here in this world. For those who don't want to continue to do the bidding of the ones who want us to just, I don't know, just hand over our children to them so they can do whatever to them. Because that's really what it comes out to. I think we all get that part now. These people just have terrible intentions for human bodies, particularly innocent ones. And I like that they are known for that now. And one of the first things I think about when considering these people is the awful things that they've been exposed for doing in Epstein files. I'm not thinking about their wealth. I immediately go, okay, they must have had a child for breakfast. Like literally. And I think it's becoming common knowledge that, or common rhetoric at this point amongst all of us, that that's what we should expect from these people. And that's exactly what they deserve. The reputation that aligns with the reality of what it is they're doing. And I was talking about that in one of my videos, talking about the Lakers. I just want the rhetoric in life to match the reality, since we're forced to live with the reality anyway. You know, a lot of the stuff that we see is like, you're going to live this way, but you're not going to talk about it. Or if you do talk about it, you're going to say it's something else, or else you're a bad guy. We're going to have you living this way, but you can't use the rhetoric that describes that reality. You got to go a different route with your talking. I want that to come to an end. I'd love for that era to go away. That just the whole lying about it area, we don't talk about it, we don't see nothing, but we're living through it. Yeah, if we have to live through it, then there should be no harm in saying what it is you're living through. I'm walking down the street in North Hollywood on Lancashire. I shouldn't have to tell people I'm in New York on Fifth Ave. You know what I'm saying? My reality aligns with the rhetoric coming out of my mouth, and that is freedom. That's freedom. And that's exactly what these people want us not to have. And I don't respect it. I don't appreciate it either. And if they are as untouchable as they behave like they are, then it should be no harm in having the ability to discuss things as freely and as openly as an all-powerful entity would otherwise allow you to. If you're all-powerful and you can do whatever you want, then what's the harm in allowing the world to speak the truth about what you're doing so you can get the credit for what you're doing? Y'all unapologetically stealing land. You got satanic intentions. Looking to, engage in cannibalistic behavior. How come I can't say that's exactly what you're doing? Y'all want to smear the Islamic people out to be the worst human beings in the world while simultaneously doing the worst thing to them. And then furthermore, simultaneously trying to provoke them to do the worst things in the world. How come I can't say that? You got all the power in the world to accomplish all of this, but you're afraid of people like myself aligning the words with the reality you're forcing us to all live through. I just don't understand the cowardice. I mean, I actually do, because there's devilish confusion and devilish misdirection, devilish. It's all satanic, really. And Satan is a liar and a deceiver. And so that's beyond literal with his people. They lie about things they have no business lying about. They want credit, but then they don't want credit, because if they take credit, that means they're being honest. And if they're being honest, that means they're betraying the art of the deception. It's just, it gets to a point where it's like, yo, can we get these minuscule minded demons out of the way so that we can be honest again about what the hell's going on around us? Where are the bad guys that want to say, yo, I'm a bad guy, what you gonna do about it? What happened to the courage in these people? You know, look at some of the art in the past, different TV shows you watch where the bad guy is telling the truth about what he's doing, unapologetic evil, you know what I mean? I'm doing the bad stuff, I'm the bad guy. Where are those people in real life? Why are all the people doing the worst stuff such liars? Why can't they be honest about their intentions and demand credit for it and say, what are you going to do about it? Because you're putting us through war anyway. You're deteriorating everything any damn way. The results of telling the truth are essentially what you're forcing us into. But we all got to pretend like it's not that. If you cared about your reputation, you wouldn't be engaging in these behaviors. If you cared about what could deteriorate, you wouldn't be doing these things. You're not worried about what goes wrong when people tell the truth. You're just trying to stay true to the devilish intentions. And devilish intentions require that you be deceiving. And I just think that you all need to evolve. You all need to evolve within your, what do they call it, villain arc, to just be brash, unapologetic, and honest. I think your children will be, if I'm being honest with you. The next generation of demonic entities are not going to hide behind some lie about their intentions, because they're going to want credit. And they know nobody ain't going to be able to do nothing about it. If I'm going to do something wicked, I'm going to kick over this car's, kick that light out, I'm going to kick that light out. I'll say, yo, I'm kicking this light out. Ain't none of y'all going to do nothing about it. Like, where is that person? Where is that entity? Because these American devil worshippers, these Israeli devil worshippers, they liars, man. They hide. They want to be given credit for something they're not doing while hiding or shying away from the reputation of what it is that they are doing. But are so proud of themselves in the process, but are too cowardice to just claim it and own it. Own it. You serve ball. You like the taste of human flesh, particularly children. You have a fetish for children and intend to continue doing this process. Just tell the truth. Stand on it. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it, right? As you can clearly see, nobody's doing anything about it. You're releasing all these files, but we can't tell the truth about you. It's crazy. I just think the villains in real life are cowards. The villains in the TV shows and Star Wars and all that, they are real. They stand on what they say they're gonna do. They're waiting for the good guy to come so they can beat them. Hopefully they beat them. Usually they don't, but they tell the truth. Hey, this is what we're doing. We're unapologetic. Give us our credit for being the villain. Real life villains, they're all liars and cowards. They don't tell the truth about anything. They avoid the truth like the plague.
Bro. Exactly.
And so I'm telling all of y'all, man, I'm frustrated with it. Because I always want to live in a world where I can tell the truth about what it is people are doing, especially if I ain't got no chance of stopping them. If I can't stop you, I should be able to tell the truth about it without it harming your ego. What are villains that want the credit? I don't know, man. Some of what I'm saying is tongue-in-cheek, but honestly, watching them lie and not cover their lie is exhausting. Watching them tell lies that you can easily debunk is absolutely exhausting. Watching them play all of us for absolute fools and then demand us play along, it's insulting. If I'm being honest with everyone, it's absolutely insulting. I don't respect it, and I don't think most people do. And I don't think the history books are going to be very kind to them either. I don't think so. I think their kids, the villains of tomorrow, are going to call them a bunch of cowards. Say they were a bunch of cowards. Say they were running from things that couldn't harm them in the first place. None of them people was about to do a damn thing while y'all was lying about it. Why was y'all hiding? That's exactly what your kids are going to say. Why were they hiding? When they realized everybody couldn't do anything about it or nobody was going to do anything about it, why do they still hide behind the rhetoric as if they weren't engaging in these behaviors? That's what they're going to ask. That's what they're going to say. I know what they're going to say. That was cowards. And so, that's what comes to mind for me, man. Pretending like they don't worship the devil, pretending like they're not engaging in the behavior that they are not wise enough to hide. If you're going to hide behind a lie, cover up the truth. That's all I'm saying. They're doing nothing to cover the truth. That's what would make it insulting to the next generation of villains. They doing nothing to cover the truth. The whole genocide was on camera. They're killing children outright on purpose, bombing hospitals. And the rhetoric comes out of their mouth, well, other guys are doing that, not us. We're all watching you. Why are you afraid to take credit for what you've done? You're not afraid to show it to us, but you're afraid to say it? What kind of cowardice ass stuff is that? See, that's where it really becomes a situation where it's like, yo, these are some cowards. They're some real cowards. Because what it shows me, in some weird way, is that they don't have the stomach to see the reflection. They must hide from the reflection because it also is disgraceful to them. And then furthermore, it's important, so important, that they disgrace others in order to effectively defend themselves. That they're vulnerable and dare I say, touchable in the light. Which when you weigh it against other villains at different times in history, makes them very weak. Other villains didn't have that problem. Hitler didn't have that problem. Other conquerors of the past, they didn't have that problem. They told you they was coming through on elephants. They were slaughtering up the whole thing, men, women, and children. They were taking over the land. They were doing the pillaging. They were doing the graping. They were doing everything they wanted to do. And they stood on that. And history remembers them as tyrants, evil people who got credit for what they did. Who weren't afraid of a little dirt on their reputation when they were doing all the dirt any damn way. We bad guys. We doing bad things with big plans going forward. None of y'all gonna stop us. If you do, see us out in the field. I was listening to somebody, and I mentioned this on camera. It was about a year and a half ago. There was some tyrant out in Africa, some evil African dude. They out there doing the same evil devilish shit. You know what I mean? Like eating their own people, stuff like that. Like just crazy Epstein-like shit they doing out there too. And this guy got on camera. He was essentially saying, yo, he had popped off like 7 or 8 different people. He popped them all on camera. Like just crazy, savage, killer stuff. Popped all of them. And then he got on camera and said, look, do something about it. If you got a problem with what we got going on, if you got a problem with our behavior, come see us in the field. Get it back in blood. If you got an issue, don't talk. Come see us. Because this is what we own. Terrible human being. Waste of human space, no doubt. But I respected it. I respected him because he came out and did what he did, and he said what aligned with the realities of what he was doing. Y'all gonna have to fight in wars anyway over the behaviors. You still gonna lie about it? A lot of y'all gonna die over these behaviors. You still gonna lie about it? He's essentially saying, yo, we're out here in the field. We're doing the damage. And we're telling you what we do to you if you have a problem with it. Or you can do that to us. Get down, lay down, throw down, or shut up. That's what they saying. How can you not, at least at the very least, nod your head and say, yo, that's a bad guy. That's a bad guy. He horrible. He probably need to be done to whatever horrible things happen to bad people. But at the end of the day, he didn't hide from the reality of his actions. If he gonna die over them actions, he gonna stand on the truth any damn way. He can't avoid the consequences of those actions. He ain't gonna avoid the conflict that comes with hurting people in the way that he is. So why hide from the rhetoric when he got to face some damn consequences anyway? Israelis gonna have to face the consequences anyway. They got Iran bombing the crap out of them, and they still want to lie about what they're doing. They still want to lie. A lot of y'all will die over the stuff that you're doing, but you're still gonna lie, huh? You don't have the gall that African dude had. Yeah, y'all don't have that. Y'all do all the stuff that he do, but when it's time to face the mirror in regards to the consequences of the rhetoric that matches your actions, you can't stand to hear it. The evil that you engage in scares you when you see it. You start realizing how horrible you are. You start realizing that the lies you tell about other people deteriorate. You start realizing if you're the bad guy, then that means the other people that you're doing this to are the good guys, and you can't face that reality. That's the cowardice in you. That's what's wrong with this generation of villains. They cowards. They can't face their own reflection. They're scared of the monsters within. They're only comfortable when they can lie about somebody else being what it is they are. To justify, they have to be able to sleep at night. They got to be able to justify their existence as villains, rather than just being secure within that existence. I tell you the truth. I'm not afraid of the truth. I don't run from it. If I got to live with the consequences of behaviors, I might as well let the rhetoric match the realities. And if I'm going to engage in deception, I might as well go all the way. But I'm certainly not going to do what I did on camera and then lie about it like you don't see me. Playing everybody for a fool as if you don't have eyes. Playing with everybody else's intelligence as to coddle my own mind from my own evil intentions. Because that's what they're doing. What they hide behind and say, see, y'all too stupid. We don't think you're smart enough to even do the homework. That's why we lie in the way that we do. We're toying with all of you. See, psychologically, what we're really doing is saying all of you guys are stupid. Ha, 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 ha. No, what you're really doing is saying that you can't live with yourself. What you're really doing is saying that when you lay your head down at night, you can't sleep after seeing a reflection of yourself. What you're really doing is showing all of us how weak and how far pale in comparison to previous demons you actually are. How you pale in comparison in modern times to the tyrants that came before you. And it's not because you did any less damage, it's because you was too weak to see yourself when doing so. See, the devil wants you to take on so much shame without actually understanding the shame that you're taking on, to where he's coerced you into this reality, and you are none the wiser. Layers and layers of failure and loserdom, poor reputations, and ultimately bad karma welcoming. This is just another layer that they are yet not aware of. And they sit back and laugh at their own failure. And that's the art of deception being used against them. Yeah, you playing all them goy for a fool? Lie. Oh, they're not going to do the homework. And if they do, they'll feel so belittled and feel like they've been played for such a fool that you will have trolled them to death. That's what the devil's telling these idiots. Lie to them. If they're smart enough to see through the lie, they'll feel as if their sensibilities have been disgraced we still come out on top. See? Because if we stand on a lie so strong, they won't believe one another. They'll start questioning one another's credibility in the presence of our convictions. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. Yeah, the lies were easy to debunk, but who's listening to the truth teller when so many of us are standing strong in the conviction of our lie? I know you are, but what am I? Whatever I said you are, I did, but dare not tell the truth. And if you see that I've done these things, then I'm just screwing with you. That's the Zionist art of deception. The reality is, it's just a layer of weakness. You're not harming my sensibility because I understand what you're doing. I understand it better than you do. You're thinking it does one thing when in actuality, it does something else. You're not making me feel stupid or crazy for telling the truth. You're showing me how weak you are from running from it. For running from the truth. You're not showing me that I'm stupid in your eyes. You're showing me that you're afraid of me. Zionists, a lot of y'all, like many human beings, just follow what they were taught. This is what we were taught. These are the measures of war. These are the ways that we handle warfare. This is what it says in our book. This is how we handle the goy when we're at war. This is how we accomplish our will. Like, a lot of y'all ain't smart enough to understand that a lot of this is not meant for any other reason than to make you look bad. You ain't thinking your way through it no different than a Judeo-Christian ain't thinking his way through the fact that Israel was not a people in the Bible. You've ate the slop that was given to you by people you trusted who meant the world no good. They may have fed you, but they were feeding you to prop you up so you could be a part of an army that's meant to tear the rest of us down. There was never any point, other than the destruction of all, that they did anything nice for you. You were an army. Of course they were going to make sure you were sheltered. Of course they were going to make sure you were fed. Of course they were going to make sure that you were comforted during your darkest times. They needed to make you fat and plump, ready for the day that they did the evil thing that they needed a lot of support for. Yes. Yes. And if you weren't so self-absorbed in regards to what all your experience is, you would understand that a lot of that energy was not pointed at anything that was any good. That they weren't raising you to be a steward of the Holy Spirit. They were raising you to be a follower of them. Judeo-Christian. Israel is not the same Israel from the Bible. This Israel follows Moloch and Baal. And they're having a ball watching you think it's God that they serve. Having a great time watching you die for their intentions. Ruin your reputations saying their talking points. That in other areas you can look and see the debunking of in their own actions. They make all of you look foolish for supporting them. They spitting on Christians on camera in Israel. Kicking them in their backside and all type of shit. Like, that's the funny thing about this whole Judeo-Christian Israel bullshit. All these people that get on camera saying that Israel is the same Israel from the Bible and that Christianity is ultimately responsible if they follow these idiots, they're treating Christians crazy on camera. They're not even hiding their disdain for Christianity at all. And they will send these talking heads out there to look foolish. As yet another example of lies being told that is easily debunked. There's another measure from which that reality can be. I'm trying to help people, man, because a lot of this stuff is confusing to people. They don't really understand what they're looking at. They honestly don't get it. It's very simple. They want to turn away from evil ways, so they go to church. And in church, you know what they find? They find this shit. A devotion to Israel. Israel is looking to just like sacrifice children to Baal. Like literally. That's what's messed up about this. A lot of these people are people that are looking to turn away from evil ways. They go to church, they follow what church tell them, and they don't think no way out of that. That's about as far as it goes. I don't want to do evil no more. Let me go to church. Like really basic mindset stuff, man. Real basic stuff. There's a lot of basic minds out here that they're not really that sharp, man. They're not really that sharp. And so as they aren't, they just simply put themselves in positions while trying to escape the evils of reality to be more of the same. Because they're never actually looking for a relationship with God. They're just looking to turn away from the evil that they're engaging in hopes of being functional members of society and being able to sit at the dinner table with their grandmother again, which is a real thing. I tell you, it's in my family too. And a relationship with Christ means having a relationship in the church. Problem is, what church? A Judeo-Christian church? Where I'm supposed to be worshiping the star? Because that's devil worship. I don't think it really mattered, and that was the point. There was no difference. They didn't have no understanding that there was a difference. Christianity is Christianity. If it follows Christ, it's for your life. No! No, the thing's been hijacked by the devil worshipers. People was eating children are paying these people that are supposed to be pushing us this Christianity in American understanding. A lot of these people are horrible. It's proven at this point. Hey, buddy. And so what do? We're trying to go to church. We're trying to get our lives together. We're trying to get out the streets. I tell you the truth. In some cases, you have a better chance spiritually if you stayed your ass in the streets and going to some of them churches. But what it is that they're trying to promote and normalize and make ultimately fine and dandy. When you start finding out what these churches are pushing, or you start finding out they're taking that $7,000 from Izzy, then you understand, you probably do better selling drugs in the eyes of the Lord than aligning with these people and what it is they're doing. Just being honest. You hurt less people if you're gangbang. Tell the truth. You do better find the Lord with the homies than huddling up with these white supremacists. That's a fact. And so I tell y'all, man, we need to teach our children to be independent thinkers. I always talk. I say, look, if you need church, maybe finding a church is right for you. But me personally, the more I learn about these churches, the more I realize the church is in my heart. And I'm safer. My spirit is safer if I just study the word on my own. And it's hard to express that to people who've been raised and guilt-tripped into believing that they need to be in a church home in order to find God. When a lot of times they go to church, they don't find God, they find Satan. They find deception. They find Israel. You can't tell them who've been raised this way their whole lives for 70 years that the devil is found where they ultimately are telling us to go to. Like, bro, I know the devil over there. It's not even a wonder. I know. I've seen proof every day for 3 years. God ain't over there with them. They pushing white supremacy, colonialism. They hate Islam. Islam's close to God. It's close to God. You've been taught all your life that Islam is evil. Islam is one of the closest relationships with God you're going to find in this world. Take it from a Christian who knows God, who knows Jesus, and believes in Jesus Christ. Islam's one of the closest relationships with God you're going to find in this world. I can tell all of you, if you follow Islam to a T, you're going to know God. You're going to know him. That's why these people are waging war against Islam. That's why they're trying to make you feel like it's the worst thing in the world. That's why. That's why they spent their whole life using propaganda to make you feel like them people in the Middle East is evil. That's why. I'm just, at this point, ready to let the rhetoric of the realities match what it is that comes out of my mouth. I don't think it wise for me to lie on the behalf of people who are doing evil things to young people. I don't think it makes any sense for me to go along with anything they want. And I don't give a damn what they're talking about or what they talk about in regards to silencing me. You go ahead. I'm talking now because God wants me to. If you shut me up, that means he was ready for me to stop talking. Or at least stop talking on the platforms you use. I'm not interested. I don't serve you. I don't serve Baal or any other cosplay the devil got going on. I serve a living God who's proven himself every single day in my life, man. Every day. I know Jesus Christ. He got me through some of the most difficult things I ever been through. I don't need to follow no church to have a relationship with him at all. I don't need to follow no man, no woman. With respect to all of y'all who mean well, I know now that is not required in my life. I know it. I'm certain of it at this point. It doesn't mean that they're in the church that I will be welcome in. It doesn't mean that I've seen nothing but evil things in the church. It don't mean that every Christian church is talking about the same stuff that ultimately aligns people with the enemy of God. It don't mean that at all. It just means that in the presence of being in the belly of the beast, I found God standing still, not in the presence of other people who were trying to get along with one another, but in a room by myself where I prayed. That's where I found the relationship with God that gave me the courage to say all these things that they are being taught to never say. That gives birth to the environment where the evil that's being done today is taking place. Co-sign Israel as they are bombing children's hospitals, torturing poor people, engaging in racist practices, deception in regards to their actions and their choices and their symbols and their rhetoric. Supreme and utter weakness found in what it is that they want me to co-sign has never been more clear to me in my entire life. Why the Lord made it so that I never wanted to go to school. I never wanted to go to church. It's never been more clear to me in my life. Why? I'm just telling y'all the truth, man. It has never been more clear than this moment I'm in right now. As I look up at this full moon ahead of me, I know exactly why my spirit was repelled by all the human training spaces found in this belly of the beast, colonial place that we're in, America. I know exactly why. Because it was all evil to begin with. It was all making people comfortable with things they had no business being comfortable with, silence in the presence of evil, wickedness, and misdirection, welcoming of energies that ultimately should have never been co-signed, that were rooted in the foundation of mistreatment. Foundation. Trying to normalize the foundation of mistreatment. That's what they've been trying to do for 400 years. They hurt people, they slaughtered people, they built something on top of their dead bodies, and we're all walking on top of that. And they had to make it so that we were all fine with that evil and not tormented by that evil. And these places is how they warped our brains into that space. Because they were going to continue those practices throughout a lot of our lifetimes. So we needed to be fine with this. We need to have reverence for it. We needed to take pride in it. We needed to pledge our allegiance to it. We needed to think that it was most important that we align with one another in regards to being okay with it, rather than to speak truth to it. We needed to look at people like myself who would be willing to speak truth to it as crazy individuals, as disruptive individuals, as annoyances to the foundation of our sophistication. And they teaching each and every one of our kids to be sophisticated in that same fashion, to pledge allegiance to that same flag that was so easily infiltrated by the devil him damn self. And no, friend, no. Lord made sure I wasn't trained in any of those spaces. He kept me away from all that, so that I could be raised in the spirit and the frequency that I'm on, to make shame of all of that, to speak truth to all of that, and to be comfortable in the crazy, in the disruptive. Because that frequency is going to liberate us all. And the devil's afraid of that frequency. Terrified of it. So that's really what I have to say, man. I'm the belly of the beast. I'm American. I was born in Hollywood, California, or raised in Hollywood, California, born in Westwood. I'm from where the intention to mold minds was ultimately most important. The hub for which the propaganda was most important. Where the art was supposed to train us all to be fine with all of this. All of it. To look at our neighbors who look differently than us as if they're some tyrant, while looking at the people who were tyrant as if they were something more sophisticated than the rest of us. With reverence and with little to no concern for our lives in their presence as they continue to do horrible things all over the world. Now normalize them and vilify every one of their victims. That's the truth. We look at one another as indigenous people, all victims of white supremacy. We look at one another like one another are the worst people in the world. And we all can huddle together and share stories about what they've done to us. But too busy looking at each other with the cold shoulder. That's training, y'all. That's mind warping. That's psychological intention. That is literally psychological mistreatment. That's what that is. That's abuse of the mind. And I'm telling you, the truth is going to age better than anything they got going on right now. Iran, I tell you, as I've said many times on this channel, I ain't got no problem with y'all, man. I really don't know about y'all government. I'm not aware of Khamenei. I believe I'm not even saying his name correctly. Ayatollah. I don't know of him. I have mixed feelings about the little I understand. You know, I think that what he was trying to do was keep y'all people in line with the Muslim faith. I think that's what I've been kind of putting two and two together. And anybody that wanted to get outside of that, that would ultimately let the nonsense of Western perversion in, those were the people who were usually very unhappy with him. People who wanted to engage in OnlyFans-like behavior. Honestly, my guess is that the majority of people who are unhappy under his reign tend to want to have alternate lifestyles, man. Western world influenced lifestyles. And while a lot of that stuff in the West, that freedom feels good, it also let the devil in the room. It's so much of that is why we've been taken over by such demonic entities. It's because we were so addicted to the freedom of doing things our way. And that was manipulatable. And that's what it is that I'm trying to get people to understand. Because we were raised in this strip club culture, do whatever I want to sexual culture, We were easily influenced by evil, man. If we would have been more strict in regards to keeping and deflecting away from that stuff, if we would have been lockstep with keeping that stuff out of our lives, it would have been much more difficult for Israel to take over our country. So I would tell all my Iranian brothers and sisters, those who want to do Western world stuff, it's not for your betterment. All that glitters ain't gold. I'm not saying you should be under tyranny and you should have your head chopped off for trying to wear a short skirt, but I am telling you that you wearing that short skirt probably ain't for your betterment of your people. And one of the reasons why evil is after you so much is because it couldn't break through that. And if you let the devil in, believe me, 100, 200, 300 years from now, may not be doing as well for letting that OnlyFans culture in, man. Want to let your hair down, there's something to that. Maybe not wanting to do that is probably for the betterment of your people. And I don't think enough of that is being said right now, man. Some of y'all were really unhappy with that dude because he was running a strict ship. Keep all that out, cover your hair up, do what the Islams do. Don't show skin, all of that. It's very strict. It's very restrictive. And when you're influenced by Western world culture and you see all this ass shaking, yeah, you're going to feel like you being left out. You're going to feel like this is ridiculous. You should be able to do the same thing you see the Western people do. You're influenced by all of this. And then you look over at your own self and you're not allowed to do any of that. Yeah, you're going to feel like there's some restrictions. You're going to have something to say about it. I don't doubt that feeling restrictive is something to not want. And a lot of people fought and died against feeling restrictive, about having that coming down on them in such a way that leaves for them not to be able to act like Beyonce, not to be able to act like Trina, not to be able to act like Sexy Red. You want the right to be an asshole. You want the right to be, sexually active or whatever the heck. You want the right to be yourself, or whatever that looks like. Problem is, the Western world was not given that because it's loved. It was given that because in having it, it can be manipulated. And if you understand that context, then you don't welcome things into your life that make you weaker. You don't welcome things into your life that make you worse. You don't welcome things in your life that can be manipulated by tyrannical, evil white supremacists who are looking to do terrible things to literally everybody. You understand what I'm saying? That's very important in the presence of what direction the Middle East wants to go from here, man. This is just like I said about something else in a different regard. You may do what I did and get worse results or different results. I may have been able to survive this, that, and the third. You do it, you ain't gonna survive it. You do it, you're gonna take on the worst of it. You do it and disease is gonna spread all through your country. For me, I just got away with it. I learned from it, bumped my head, got up, and moved on. For you, generational pain. Like, I'm just saying. So I want all my friends in the Middle East, especially in Iran, to give a great deal of thought to what this Western person is saying on this camera, man. Give a great deal of thought, because right now you're about to taste freedom. You letting the devil in, and he gonna let you do all the evil stuff. He gonna exploit every woman in that mug. He gonna have you walking around naked on purpose, just to overcompensate for all the restrictive stuff. Y'all gonna have more sex going on in your country 100 years from now than any of them. That's the devil's intention for your people, to turn y'all from being strictly aligned with the Holy Spirit in your faith to being ultimately full of debauchery. And then your whole country is going to be like a Vegas, basically. The whole thing. They're going to turn Iran into the biggest Vegas you ever seen, man. I'm telling you. I know what the devil's intention is for that place. They're going to have more debauchery going on there than America ever had going on. Because he's going to finally have his hands on that for which was impenetrable. That's the purpose of what it is they're trying to do. Everybody wants something they can't have, and the devil wants y'all. Bdf 44. I thank y'all for watching.